Hi everyone, I'm back. It's Veroosh and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well today. I bet you didn't expect to see me today. Actually, I got my days confused. I thought yesterday was Friday and today's Saturday, but lo and behold, it's Sunday. So we can do the weekly instead of anything else. And it kind of fits in with what I want to do for your videos moving forward anyway. So today we're going to talk about the week ahead, including Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates that. And I hope you guys are doing well. This is my non-traditional Christmas background and I'm kind of loving it. The fern and the 3 strawberries, they're actually rocks that are painted like strawberries, but we have our green and red. And yeah, I'm happy to be back. Same thing as yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, it's going to be linked at the end of the video. I'm a little bit sick. I don't feel bad. It's, when you get sick and you sound sick, but you're feeling okay, it's just, it is what it is. So don't feel bad for me. I appreciate all your guys's well-wishing, but see, I feel fine. So don't worry about the coughing. Like I said yesterday, I was a very sick kid. I got sick, every couple months, maybe even once a month, with throat and lung diseases, different ones. So my body had a hard time fighting it. And now if I get a little bit of sickness, then you can hear it. And my body reacts strongly to that. So it doesn't mean that I'm really sick. It just means my body's a fighting machine. So, okay. The other thing that I want to mention is that the website is down, but I know what I'm going to do with it. It's probably going to be in January that I'll change it. In the meantime, if you're wanting a reading with me, if you want to book it, then go into the description or in the comments and I'll link you the direct link for where you can buy the video for now. So, or the reading for now. It's a consultation. Somebody got a consultation and wasn't clear on it. It's a phone consultation. We talk for an hour. It's great. I answer your questions in any way that you want. Okay. And also I'm posting videos on Tarot Talk, which is also linked in the description. And on Pick a Card, I'll be putting out a Pick a Card video today on Pick a Card channel if I have enough light. So go and follow me on those channels. I appreciate the support and the follows and the likes and comments and stuff. Okay, so this week is a huge week. It's probably one of those crazy weeks that we very rarely experience. Okay, so this is like in terms of the whole year, this is it. This is one of the most intense weeks, and next week will be intense as well. Not intense in a negative way, but it is definitely intense in the sense that there's a lot of change, there's a lot of things going on, and I'll go through that with you now in terms of astrology, but I'm thinking that I'd like to put together a highlight for you guys, like a special video that goes more into depth into what's changing, and we can focus on that separately. But the 3 main things about this week that are very, very significant are, well, there's 4. The sun's going to enter into Capricorn. So there you go. Here, I'll show you guys. So sun enters Capricorn on Tuesday. So that's going to be first thing in the morning if you're in Vancouver Pacific time, or later in the day if you're east of that. Then there is also the nodal shift. Now this is a big can of worms for people. The north and the south node are going to switch from Gemini and Sagittarius to Taurus and Scorpio. And so this happens once every year and a half. This happened last May for the North Node in Gemini transit. And so now as it's entering into Taurus, it'll be there for a year and a half. And the reason that it's controversial is that there's two ways to interpret the North Node. There's a mean node, which is actually the one that's changing right now, and the true node that will change, I think, early January. So it's a transition period between the two systems. I know I find astrologers get up on their high horse about stuff like this in order to validate their expertise, which is kind of a petty way to show their knowledge or whatever. I think it's just a backhanded way of behaving. So what I would suggest is you consider both. And so we'll definitely talk about that more, and I'll explain more about the differences between the nodes elsewhere, but know that these transits are happening right now. As a little bit of a fun fact, titillating, kind of get your interest going, the North Node in some systems is considered the highest point of the North Node in Gemini, and then in some other systems, other astrologers consider North Node in Taurus to be this position of ascension. So it depends on who you ask, and it's actually a very interesting conversation. So if I have time to get into that with you, I think I'd like to share that with you guys a lot, because I think that what I said yesterday in the astrology video for the full moon in Gemini is that this North Node in Gemini has left us all with a completely different set of rules, right? And yes, it can be attributed also to the transits in Aquarius, and I'm fully behind believing that. The Aquarian, Jupiter, and Saturn have changed the rules completely, but I feel like the North Node in Gemini is also a huge contributing factor to why things have changed so much. And if you objectively look back at the last year and a half until back to May 2020, how many rules have changed, and how has society started talking differently, and like what are the different expectations on us as individuals and as citizens. There's a lot of changes around. So I think that's pretty on point. And frankly, I'm a fixed sign person. I have lots of fixed sign placements. Enough change. I'm good. And so I'm happy to see the North Node enter into Taurus, a fixed sign. And so change is good, but in moderation. So I think we've gotten our good dose. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed by change, this is a marker of maybe somewhat slowing down or more of a practical approach to transformation. And we'll talk about what the North Node in Taurus means as well. We talked about the sun entering Capricorn season. I wanted to say happy birthday to all Capricorns out there. Hope you're having a wonderful season. It's going to be a very interesting one. There's a lot of placements in Capricorn and a lot going on with Venus retrograde. So we'll talk about that separately as well. As a caveat to that, on December 11th, Venus and Pluto had begun their conjunction, which means that they're in the same position in Capricorn, right? And so this conjunction has continued until now and will continue till the end of the year, because Venus is going to go retrograde, and then she'll pass Pluto one more time in 2022. But for now, know that Venus and Pluto are hovering together in the same spot. And that's significant because Venus is a fast-moving transit, and she moves through different positions on the chart very quickly. It's a matter of weeks or days that she can get through a sign. Not days, but very, very quickly. A couple weeks that she can get through a sign. And so the fact that she's with Pluto, the slowest transit, it is a certain type of energy, a certain type of kind of grit that's evolving. There's a power struggle there. If you don't know much about Venus, Venus as a goddess isn't necessarily light and bright. She's a little, well, that's a funny joke. It's a pun unintended. Venus is a tough chick. She's not necessarily one to fool around with. So yes, she's love and all those beautiful things, but she's sort of like, don't cross me either. That's her vibe. And so with Pluto, that's a don't cross me type planet. The fact that they're together, I think, is significant, and that might be showing up in the world for you, or it could be showing up for you in your individual life. Again, I want to dedicate these big transits to separate content so we don't overkill here, but I just wanted to acknowledge that this is happening right now. So this second pass of Venus over Pluto, as she's turned retrograde yesterday or this morning, will be on 25th on Christmas. Merry Christmas, you guys. And so relationships with family may be, we'll talk about it, but just as a heads up, you know, if you have family members with whom you struggle or with whom you have very intense relationships, this is something for you to be very aware of, because emotions and you know, all these like undercurrents of how you feel may be activated by this. I just saw something that's going to ruin the live if I don't move and fix it. So I apologize. I didn't turn on my computer into the power source, so it's good. The battery's going to run out if I don't turn it on. There we go. Okay, good. I was trying to tell myself, don't do that, and I did it. Okay, and the last big transit of this week that's important for you to be mindful of, and you've probably heard about this a lot this year, the square between Uranus and Saturn will be exact this week. I think that the exact square is, hold on, I will tell you, it's on Thursday, so right before Christmas. And again, it's a struggle between the old and the new. As we've said before, this is not overkill, but this is more of a consolidation. And I know I'm kind of speaking against something I've said before when I said that this is not the consolidation of this issue between what's from the past and what's of the future. Again, I'll do a deep dive into this a bit more. There's more to say about this moving forward. But for this week, it's important for you to know, as holidays come, more interaction with family, more interaction with other people. Hopefully, or if you're by yourself, you might be feeling more frustrated through this time. This square is challenging you to take an interim set of consolidation. So figure out how you feel about things. The writing's sort of on the wall. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, and it's up to you to react. And how you react in these circumstances will then turn around and have consequence in the whole picture of how this square between Saturn and Uranus play out in 2022. So we'll talk about that in detail more. But just in short, we have 4 major things happening this week. The sun enters Capricorn, so this is important. It's the solstice. Happy solstice, everybody. Then we have the nodes, the mean nodes switching into Taurus and Scorpio. I think that's the biggest change of the week. Venus and Pluto kind of hovering. So I want to reiterate, because I don't know if I stressed this well when I explained it. Venus moves quickly, as I said. And so the fact that because of the retrograde period, is going to hover over Pluto, that tension is going to rise quite a lot. So, you know, be aware of that, or be cognizant of that. So it's a special thing, because she's not only gone retrograde, and she's a fast-moving transit, but the retrograde has slowed her down. And so therefore, her conjunction with Pluto lasts from the 11th of December right until the end of the year, because of this back and forth motion. So there are no coincidences, but it's because of this set of circumstances. So I hope you're seeing that. And then Uranus and Saturn square, the final one. So again, being pushed towards endings, opportunities, but then not being sure about what future opportunities you should take, what is solid or what is a pipe dream. We'll talk about that all separately, but all in all, you might be feeling as though there's a lot of push and pull in your life. There may be a lot of intense variance in terms of relationships with others. Especially any type of aggression this week is no bueno. So you stay away from anybody being overly upset with you, but be with your heart. So be of your heart. So if you're in a situation and you know in your heart of hearts that you have to act a certain way, and this is the right and just thing to do in a calm and well manner, do so. Be kind and be kind. And do what you need to do. I feel as though if you do act through your heart, and if you do act, you're in a situation that's being influenced by all these different transits. And if you find yourself in a situation and you feel in your heart of hearts that you have to act in a certain way, that could be very magical, and that could produce for you amazing outcomes in your life that could break walls for you. So if you're seeing whatever it is that you're seeing in your life and you're just like, I can't stand this anymore, this has to go, or this has to change, I'm not telling you to not go with that feeling, because these types of transits can really propel and break down walls, change circumstances that are immovable. Be very open. Just don't be confrontational for the point of being confrontational. Be grounded and respond well. So I hope that's a good overview of the big transits. I'll tell you guys some of the more minor ones now. Just give me a minute. So let's talk about the moon. So this chart is for Tuesday. So the moon is in Cancer. The moon starts in Cancer tomorrow, and then will enter into Leo on Tuesday. That's when the sun enters into Capricorn. So that's going to be the sign change. Moon in Cancer, and then the sun enter into Capricorn. So that's not necessarily an easy transit. Our emotions and what's going on around us on Tuesday may be sort of out of sorts. This is also the day in which the Venus and Pluto square is really strong. So be aware of that. And further to this, the moon will be opposing Venus and Pluto. So there may be a disconnect between how we feel about things and what we are doing or what we can do. So be patient if you're feeling some kind of frustration tomorrow and into Tuesday. I want to highlight something for you that we missed earlier because I wasn't putting out videos. There's a transit in which there's a mirroring transit that happens sometimes. And this happens this time of year. And the part of the Venus retrograde transit, and I know I didn't do a video on this yet. I'll do one later, but later this transit will be over. So I'll tell you about this transit now to be aware of this. A lot of Venus retrograde has to do with her cycle with Mars this year. There was some real nice conjunctions in July when Venus and Mars conjoined in Leo. I hope you remember. And then there was a back and forth through this side of the zodiac as Venus entered into Capricorn and so forth. And so they formed a square. They formed, I think, a sextile. And now they're in a very interesting position. And I wonder if it's an interesting position in the sense that they are experiencing the same amount of daylight in the positions that they're in, if that makes sense. I don't want to get too technical, so I'm trying to explain it to you in easy terms, but they're mirrors of each other now in terms of the amount of light that they receive in the positions that they're in. Okay, so the important thing for us to know is there's a period of time that's being activated with regard to Mars that started this week. It started actually yesterday, but now will continue. And I want to look together with you guys right now, and I'll tell you this period of time will continue until March 1st. So from now until March 1st, something is unpacking. And look, March 1st, we have Venus direct creating a conjunction with Mars in Capricorn in the exact position that Venus is in now. So this Venus retrograde cycle, and I'll talk about Venus retrograde to you guys or with you guys later, but just so we don't miss this marker, this date of yesterday, Mars has entered into a position that now is activating a bigger cycle between Mars and Venus, and that will play out into some cathartic big event around March 1st, which is the same position as Venus is in now. And you'll see also, look, Pluto is at 27 degrees. So this is a massive conjunction in Capricorn at the beginning of March. So look at what's going on. Mars and Venus has a lot to do with relationship stuff. How does this play out? Relationship dynamics may get initiated this week or right now, and that ball may get rolling and develop further in your relationships with people, between each other, in your family relationships, in your romance and love. If you're looking for love, if you want love, Venus retrograde isn't necessarily the time to find someone, but it's a great time to do a lot of soul searching and figure out exactly what's right for you. So, I encourage you to take a look at this time period as this block. So today until March 1st, there's something going on. Be on the lookout on how it's going to play out in your life. Here, let me take it back a month. Okay, there we go. So December 21st. Okay, we're good. So this mirroring effect is being activated actually a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. But that will, the reason is that Mars is a mirror of Venus at this time. And when Mars reaches this position, 26 degrees of Capricorn, it will come in, something is coming into fruition. Something's going to come around full circle and produce an outcome. So pay attention to what kind of love things are coming up for you. If you do want to change your love life, if you don't want to be single, this is the time to start taking care of that. That doesn't mean go find a partner, because Venus retrograde can kick you in the butt while you're doing that. But soul searching, personal improvement, this is the time to, what is stopping you from love? You can identify that within yourself, the things you have control over. And if you work on those things at this time, your love life can change by March 1st. That doesn't mean you find that partner, but there's a learning opportunity here. So you want to look into that. Again, we'll do Venus retrograde separately, but I wanted to highlight this for you. So how did I get onto this? Oh, right. And so the moon is in Cancer today, and it's opposite Pluto and Venus at this time. So tomorrow, Monday. And so this opposition in some way may make the moon feel out of sorts. The sun is not in a easy angle to the moon. It's not really seeing. The heart and the being is not really in alignment on Monday. And so you want to be a little bit patient. If things are not hopeful on Monday, if you're feeling down, give it a day, because it's the frustration that you're feeling. However, that frustration may be an indicator point for this other cycle that I just described for you. I hope that made sense. But I forgot to write it down, so I wasn't prepared to tell you about it. So this is just my way of explaining it off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a very impressive, and especially the fact that on March 1st, Mars and Venus and Pluto will be in the same position. They'll be conjunct again in that exact same spot. It really feels like there's some type of synastry around love and all those things. Okay. So then the moon will move into Leo on Tuesday and stay there until Thursday night. And then on Friday, the moon will move into Virgo. And this is when the moon will form a trine to the sun. So Friday is going to be a nice day. I think let's just take, Friday is Christmas Eve, so that's going to be a nice start for your guys' Christmas. The mood's going to be up. You're going to be hopefully feeling optimistic. If you try to do a lot of work, if you're going to try to achieve a lot, if you put too much on your shoulders, you might get overwhelmed, as there's also a square to Mars, but be patient with that. And then on Saturday, the moon will continue to be in Virgo, and by Sunday, Boxing Day, that's a Canadian thing. I don't, in America, do you guys have Boxing Day? I'm not sure if you guys do, but in Canada, it's called Boxing Day, the second day of Christmas. And so the moon will enter into Libra, and that will be that. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. On Sunday, this is the last one, the moon will be at 0 degrees Libra, forming a square to the sun. So you have 2 days in which it's going to feel uneasy, right? There's going to be Monday when you have this this transit of the moon in Cancer, right? Here in Cancer. It's going to feel awkward, and it's going to feel kind of intense. Tuesday, sorry. So the first day is Tuesday, where you're going to feel kind of, don't get discouraged on Tuesday, in other words. Everything's going to work out fine. Wednesday a little bit, because there's going to be an opposition to Saturn, but it's going to be more of a day to reflect on what you need to work on to get more out of life. And then finally on Sunday, after the holidays, you will get a square, which may make you feel overwhelmed. So as you're processing, don't get too overwhelmed by what happened. Take some time down and take care of yourself. So that's a lot of information. I hope that it's helpful for you guys. And why don't we do the tarot card part of today's video? So yeah, thank you for being here. So was that good? Oh, Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa as well. Happy holidays to everybody. Yeah, of course. Okay, so I'm trying to, and I apologize if I forget anything. I was like, remember to say, this week is busy, right? So I'm like, remember to say happy birthday, Capricorns. And then it was like, remember this and remember that. So sorry if I've forgotten anything. Okay. So why don't we talk about this week for your sign? We'll do 7 cards. And this is the first time I do this. I just show the instruction of how to do this, just in case you don't know what's going on. So I pick 7 cards for the 7 days of the week. And then I'll read for you kind of like a pick a card style, meaning you can attribute to this each card a day of the week that you want. So you can say this is my Friday or this is my Tuesday, etc. But I read chronically, so chronologically. And so basically I will just read and turn them over one at a time, but you guys are free to mix and match and choose your own order. Okay, so why don't we get a dice, because Aries doesn't get to always go first. I'm sorry, Aries. let's pick a dice. Okay, so I'll roll the dice and we'll keep going. So we have Scorpio first. Scorpios. It's a big week for Scorpios as the South Node is entering into Scorpio. We'll talk about that in a dedicated video, so I can really take some time to talk about that. Okay. Let's rock and roll, okay? So we have 7 cards. Okay, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I'm just getting situated. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so first card is the Ace of Pentacles, so not bad. So I feel as though for some of you there's a real desire for something new that's financial. You want a new break, you want to buy something new, you want to change something from a material perspective. There's going to be this week a great desire for this. This makes sense. The South Node will be in some way influencing you to release old things. So if you've been carrying some type of weight on your shoulders for all this time and you've been trying to purge it, to clean it out. Scorpios are very sensitive to toxicity. So if there's something from the past that's weighing you down, you may be feeling the toxicity of past events haunt you. And so this is a time when the South Node enters into Scorpio. This happens once every 18 years. You are going to experience a clearing out of a lot of those kinds of old circumstances. So your desire for something new is timely. This is a natural instinct to change, to let go, to release, and to begin some new path. Here is the next message, King of Pentacles. So Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in fire. Watch out for somebody who is going to give you some very sage advice. This is someone who has very strong financial abilities. I think it's also important, if you particularly date men, if you have an earthy type male around you, you may be seeing some kind of activity with regard to that person at this time. This person in some way may be initiating towards you, showing interest. Things may be beginning with this type of person at this time. So there's two messages here. One, look to the King of Pentacles, whoever this may be in your life, as a guide and someone who's helping you, someone who gets you perspective. And second, if you have a love interest who is a King of Pentacles type, and that can be a man or a woman, remember, then maybe there is some action between you and them. And remember that Venus, Mars, almost sextile. I want to call it a sextile, but it's just short of that. It's activating something. So this could be on the lookout, Scorpios. There could be luck in love. Okay. 8 of Swords. I'm trying to stay strong. Sorry about my voice. 8 of Swords. And if you're curious, just watch the beginning. I explain it all there. I'm fine. So 8 of Swords. Okay. This is saying that if you need to say something to someone, this may not be the time quite yet. There may be some things that you're not seeing about the situation, and don't get frustrated if you don't have all the information that you can use to explain your circumstance or side of the story. So be patient in communication. This week you may feel as though communication isn't so easy for you at this time. And be patient with that. Don't feel like you have to make something happen if it's just not flowing naturally. The next message is the 7 of Wands. Okay? And so I think this is a huge sign for Scorpios, indicating that you need to stand up for yourself. Whatever position you're standing up on, this is going to bring you success. I automatically also feel as though the things that you're defending, you may be questioning whether or not you're in the right, or you may be feeling like, oh, it's time to let things go, let bygones, be easier in this situation. I think what this is saying is reinforcing that you need to stick to your guns on this situation, and you need to kind of hold your own. Okay, so here is the next message. You know what it's saying in love? This is very interesting. That there's if you're in a love type situation, this is interacting with someone for a loving reason. There will be some type of distance between you and this other person. And I think that's a necessary thing at this time. It's saying that there's some type of breathing room, or something's not flowing in terms of communication as much as you'd like it to be. But I think that, you know how they say that sometimes you can say a lot with silence? I feel like the power in your situation comes from allowing kind of a situation to breathe at this time. The next message is for Saturday. We have the High Priestess. You're going to gain a very powerful insight about what's right and what's wrong in your life at this time. If something's not working, it's a pestering feeling. You know exactly what's not working and what you have to work out. and you're confronted by that within yourself. There's no external confrontation. So whatever you're not taking care of, or whatever you have been putting off addressing, internally through your intuition, those signs may go off and may be telling you it's time to deal with this issue. Sunday, so this is Moon in Libra, where, next week you have Moon in Scorpio, which is nice at the beginning of the week. So we have Six of Pentacles, which represents Moon in Taurus. The other transits I was talking about were astrological. This is the transit of the card. I think that when all is said and done, there's going to be a desire from you to give to someone and be generous. It feels as though it's like, look beyond whatever's going on. Let's say it's Christmas time and you're frustrated about things, or maybe your kids kind of are crazy through Christmas and they're acting up. By Sunday, your heart's going to be melted, and you're going to feel a great need to be generous to them, to bestow them with some kind of gift, or to kind of make someone's day better through financial things, through a financial generosity. So on the bottom is the Empress energy. Mother energy is very strong right now, whether you're a mother or whether your mother is a big part of things. Things are still playing out that are very important. I think things are, for Scorpio, still very much in the air, and so you need to be patient with the fact that you're still definitely in the middle of some type of process, okay? So I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so next sign is, we have Virgo. Hey Virgos, how's it going? We haven't done Virgo first in a long time, so there we go, Virgos. Hi Virgos, let's do 7 cards. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, whatever you feel drawn to. Sometimes you can just jump in on a reading midpoint. Try and doing that today. So pick a sign that's not necessarily your sign in the time caps when we post it, and jump in on their reading and see if it has a message for you as well. That's a kind of more of an intuitive way of doing this, okay? So here, 7 cards. Okay. Okay. So here is your first card, Virgo. Merry Christmas, you guys. So we have the Death card first, Scorpio. So what's up with Virgos and Scorpios? At it again, are ya? Okay. So yeah, Virgos and Scorpios are a sextile in astrology, so they're very comparable. They're compatible, and so it tends to, they can show up in each other's readings and signs. For Virgos, the other complementary sign is Cancer, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Chariot's not here as well. So this is what's going on for Virgo. I think Virgos are done with the year, like D-U-N, done, like completely done and done. And I think that many of you are looking forward to the new year and very, very much finished with the ins and outs of how this year went and all the different aspects of it. So it's a really, I'm done with this sort of energy. I think that's what's in your heart. And I think that you're manifesting that outside of yourself by virtue of being just completely finished with whatever's happened or not happened this year. Okay? So it's like, it's a Virgo's, I think you've drawn the line, and I think you're not necessarily disappointed or sad or anything, but just very much done with all the details. North Node in Gemini is actually very hard for Virgos because it's all these little details. So as I said in the intro in the astrology, I'm a Virgo. I'm looking forward to North Node in Taurus. It's going to be much less little pieces to pick up, right? So you're feeling that North Node in Gemini transiting into Taurus is going to be a relief for Virgo. So you're pretty much done with all that. Because Virgos like to, let me explain a little bit more. Virgos account for every detail. So in an environment in which there's tons of little pieces and details, it's a lot to keep up with, right? So for a short time, that's fine, but for extended time, that's Virgo's kryptonite. So now we're happy, North Node in Taurus. Okay, so next message. So we have Empress, Venus, Taurus. Okay, so this is a message for Virgos. Now, Christmas can be very hard on people. All holidays are. Family relationships can be challenged. All sorts of different things can be hard. So if you, for whatever reason, are separate from your family, or if someone has passed, know that they still ruminate in your heart. They still show up. They're still, their frequency still shows up in indirect ways. And look into your environment for messages from them. So what this is saying is that the mother energy is very strong for you as a guiding force this week. And so there will be some kind of powerful insight that comes from the mother frequency. Now, if you're a mom, maybe this is your own insight about kids, about family, about what to do. So mother frequency is very, very strong. If this is your wife, listen to her. So she has important things to say. And it's all from the heart. Maybe it's your sister, maybe it's a friend, but a mother figure is telling you important things, Virgo. Okay. Then we have the Three of Wands next, which is so something has been said or discussed between people, and you're waiting for the outcome on what was said and how. So don't necessarily expect a outcome for the information that you're waiting for. If you've had a conversation and you're waiting for the outcome of that conversation, you're waiting, but this is a hopeful card. So things are coming in slowly. Just be patient. I think I'll be saying to people throughout today's reading, be patient a lot. So you're not alone. Six of Swords. I wrote Wands. I'm sorry, I have to fix this card. But so this moving on is very lucky for you. So it's timely. So if your instinct is telling you to move on from a situation, this is a very timely message, intuitive instinct. Moving on without conflict. Just simply seeking new ground and going in a different direction. This is saying that it's very lucky for you to move on from circumstances that have played themselves out. Okay. Then we have the Six of Cups. This is very lucky for love, Virgo. Soulmate connections. This is also Christmas time. So magic can happen for you at Christmas this year, or the holidays this week. There's reconnection possible. Remember what I said about Venus and Mars. But this Six of Cups is really indicating that there could be a breakthrough in love for Virgos, particularly those of you who have already an established connection or someone from the past with a lot of love coming into your life. This is also something that could be connected to someone who you don't know, but's connected to you karmically in a positive way. So someone that you're meant to meet and have this connection with. Just don't get in a relationship with them right at this time, because Venus retrograde has a tendency to kind of ruin things by the time it goes direct. So be patient. If there is a love situation going on for you, see your way to the other side of Venus retrograde with it and see what comes of that. But very lucky time for Virgos in love. And then we have the Strength card. Okay, the Strength card is the Leo card. You could be having a very steamy Christmas this year. I think, when you're finally done with something and you're like, I'm donezo, I'm out of here. This is the energy here. And this is like, and then you turn around and something happens very quickly. this is a very similar energy to that. So you could be completely finished with a situation. You're fine in your heart of hearts. You're done with it, right? You say goodbye to it, out the door, done. And so this is indicating that maybe by doing so, there's something that's going to really spark up very quickly. And some of you may have a very steamy Christmas. So Merry Christmas, you guys. That mistletoe action's going to be heavy in your house. Okay. So here is the next. Oh, wow. This could be a transformative weekend for love for Virgos. This could be people finally having a conversation about where their relationship is like. Remember the caveat, be careful of Venus retrograde, but also this is saying that this could be signaling a very bright start. If you're involved in a very intense connection suddenly through this weekend, and the holidays bring your heart up and you're just excited and whatever, just try to temper yourself. If your partner, your love interest believes in astrology, tell them Venus retrograde. You know, it's best for us to chill until it's done. Venus retrograde, when it ends, can lead to a lot of disillusionment. A passionate love affair can grow cold, and you don't want to get yourself involved in a situation that's going to just dry up at the end of it. So if this is happening for you, try to get a hold of it in some way. Don't jump into the deep end of the pool with that, and try to kind of hodl it until after Venus retrograde. And then we have the King of Wands on the bottom. Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits in fire as well. Protective energy for you, Virgo. I think that there's, for Virgos, it's showing up a lot that there's some type of person or some type of energy that is swaying things in your favor. It's not that your whole world is great. It's that you have one person that keeps on sort of making things better for you. So, you know, if they just, you have like, one aspect in your life that's being reinforced by someone who likes you, a situation that's not too hard, a situation that will help you out if you need it. So it's one less thing to worry about. And I think that that's kind of pushing things in your favor. Okay? So figure out who that person is and cherish them and give them a good Christmas present, right? Make sure of that. Okay. So, so here is the next message. Scorpio. This is going kind of slow, but I hope you guys don't mind. Aries next. Hi, Aries. Welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at this. Aries, I hope you guys are doing well. So, the last year has been intense for Aries. I think that you'll see that in the next year, you're going to be left to your own devices a bit more. It's going to be less, you know, how do you say? You're going to be more, they're going to leave you alone a bit more, whatever circumstances are around you. We'll talk about that more later. But for this week, let's see what's going on. Okay, so first we have the Seven of Pentacles, Aries. So I think that a priority for you at this time is really waiting for a better time or saving money for a bigger outcome. So delayed gratification. And I think you're choosing that. It's not imposed upon you. So rather than spending your money, you know, up front, you're sort of, how do you say, saving for a rainy day or waiting for a better time for something. Maybe there's an opportunity you're waiting for, and so that opportunity needs to come around before you move on something. So it's a patient tiger in the grass sort of energy. You're waiting for the right time. You're still waiting, and that's how you feel at this time. So we have the Two of Cups next. Again, a very powerful communication between yourself and someone else. Someone will tell you something out of concern. Someone will tell you something out of love. This is someone who has a very sincere love for you. So whatever you hear from someone, a concern or, you know, this kind of feedback that you get from someone near you, it's going to be from a real place of love. It's like your grandma telling you something sweet, so that you need to be aware of. So listen to the advice, believe it, think about what they're telling you. It's going to be very helpful for you. Okay. So Wednesday we have the Hierophant energy. Again, you can choose your own days. So that's the energy of Taurus. That's where the North Node is entering into. There's a lot of energy around you, around Aries, who you're going to be like who are you. There's a lot of like picking teams around you at this time, and there's a lot of conversations about values and what's important, and people are trying to figure out who's on whose team, so to speak. And so I think that at this time, I feel like you're being hesitant, and I think that's a good instinct to, before you sign up for anybody else's agenda, you sort of figure out what you need to do. Okay. So figure out where you stand and figure out who's who and what's what, because teams are being chosen. Okay. And then we have the Six of Swords. Again, Virgo got this 2 in the same spot. Move on is being lucky. Moving on is lucky. It's the change that's happening with the current transits is so powerful for your sign. And so the way that your year has gone in 2021, I hope it's been positive and bountiful. It's going to change, but not in the sense that it's not going to be positive moving forward. It's just that the things and the experiences that you've been having are fundamentally changing. And so be open to that. Be open to change, and be open to finding success in new ways while you figure out where you stand with your environment, with the people in your environment. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits, Earth as well. There could be, for those of you who are new in love or who are dating somebody who's young, if you're young and you're dating someone who's young, there could be a lot of physical connection between you and someone else, a new physical spark between you and someone else. You could be feeling very like, especially those of you who are, well, no, not just singles, but like many of you will be very much, how do you say this? Like turning over a new leaf and feeling very pretty, or just changing things up. So that's exciting. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits. There's a lot of energy here on saying, I'm not going to spend money or time at this time because I have something else that I need to invest my energy into. So you're being very, very selective this week. And maybe this is reflected in your environment in some way by virtue of you saying no to some things. And meanwhile, there may be some kind of a new physical spark with someone. But overall, I do feel like you're probably more reserved, hesitant, pulling back on your friends and environment, wanting to kind of, you sort of have something and you don't want to waste it, right? So you're taking that attitude. And then Sunday, 9 of Pentacles. Saving leads to success. I mean, come on, we know this. So whatever you have been like holding on to, or whatever you've been waiting for, it's there's a madness, there's a reason to your madness. So don't necessarily question whether or not it's the right path. Sunday, it's saying here in this position that there's a good financial outcome for what you're holding on for. So don't get discouraged. Or if you're getting teased by family members, like, oh, spend more money or do this or that, don't get discouraged by the taunting of others. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to achieve and how to get that. And that will lead to good outcomes. Then we have Judgment as the outcome or the underpinning card. It's a big decision. It's a lot of like, trust yourself, Aries, this week. Trust yourself. Be discerning. Be careful with who you choose, what and how. So be very, very discerning, and you will find success. Okay, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas, you guys. Okay, so let's see the next sign. Okay, so we have Libra next. Sun, moon, and rising. Hi, Libras. So I hope you caught the astrology. The moon will enter Libra on Sunday. And your sign is experiencing a lot of squares at this time. So they're not necessarily the easiest energy. And this time of year, Libras go through this every year because that's when the sun enters Capricorn. So you may be feeling very like, it's just, how do you say, Libras, whether you're a social Libra or an introvert Libra, Libras are good at managing other people and the hustle and bustle of people in general. Whether they kind of do so naturally, it just is something that Libras do pretty well. Not all, but many, okay? And so at this time, you may be feeling like the horde, which is like all the people that you're dealing with, suddenly get a bit more overwhelming for you. Suddenly their ideas and the way they do things, it's like, it's kind of being, imagine being stuck in a room with them like Christmas, right? For a little bit longer than you feel comfortable with. So there's like a little bit of there's like a too close for comfort, can't really escape. They're saying crazy things and you can't get enough distance. So this time of year is a time for Libras where those social dynamics that are usually really good start getting under your skin a little bit because you can't control maybe the environment so much anymore, or less because of the fact it's the holidays, because of the fact that we spend it in closed rooms. So, but Libra, be patient with it. All I'm getting is mild irritation, so you can handle that. There's other signs are going through way more than you are, so I'm sure that you'll be fine. Okay, so and yeah, I'm sure that you'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be okay. So I'm getting minor frustration. And the Venus and Pluto conjunction is a strong one, especially if you're born near Scorpio. So if you're born in October as a Libra, you may be feeling a little bit more on edge than the ones who are born closer to, in August. September, sorry. Okay, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. So we have the Three of Cups. Someone's see, I get it. I picked up on it. Someone is pressuring you, Sun, Moon, and Rising Libra. Someone is pressuring you for a reunion. And that's a Venus retrograde in Capricorn, squaring your placements, right? We'll talk about that more in the Venus retrograde video. But anyway, so I don't know how you feel. Some of the people who are reaching out to you, you'll be all happy for, ready to party, ready to have a good time. But I think there's some people who you don't want to see. And I think that that's kind of part of the energy. Then we have the Queen of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits in water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So there is your High Priestess for this week. There's the person that's going to tell you something that's very important. This may be a woman or a man, so we can, but more of the feminine side, it is a queen. And those signs, it may be those signs, but you're looking for a bit of a firecracker, a socialite, someone who kind of is a social butterfly of sorts. This person may call you, or you may see them, and they may relay to you some very important information. And I feel like it's from a social front. So they're going to tell you about someone or something, a little bit of gossip that's going to help you out. And so be attentive and receptive to what they have to say. Yes, very good energy. So this is not a bad gossip. This is like, I heard that Mark likes you, and you're going to have dinner at Christmas. So maybe you should sit by him at Christmas dinner. That kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily something heavy or, it's just, there's your telephone, right? There's your information source. We have Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You are having a conversation with this person. Again, it could be a man or a woman, but this person has not replied to you on something. So it could be like a brother or a sister, and you're about to have dinner with them, like a family dinner, but there's an outstanding situation that you haven't heard back from them on, so you're feeling pretty awkward about it. I could see many of you going through something like that. You're waiting on somebody's communication, and they're not being as engaged or receptive, and so it's causing you some level of, come on, get it out. So in other words, don't worry about that. They're practicing their boundaries, whether you agree with that or not. That's, I think, what's going on. So I think in a situation like this, pushing them to try to talk will backfire. It's better to allow them to decompress and feel open to talking. And when they're ready to talk, once they're ready to communicate what you need to know, then that information will come in for you. So I think you'll get further that way, but do what you feel is right. Then we have the Five of Pentacles here. Five of Pentacles. Okay, so this is an indicator of generosity. This is an indicator of, if you're generous to someone, or if you have been generous to someone, it's very lucky for you at this time. So let's say you help someone out, or you really go out of your way to help somebody. This is coming back for you in a positive way. Likewise, if this week you find a need for you to be generous with someone, then this you might be, how do I say this? You might be called upon to be generous, and that's going to be karmic. And when I say karmic, meaning that if you from your heart help without thinking of the consequences, and you're just like, yeah, I'm there for you, bro, it's gonna come through in such a positive way back. Okay, so Friday we have the Five of Swords. This is where I feel like your relationship, this could be also with like your husband or your partner or an ex, you know, because if you have kids with an ex-husband and it's Christmas time, that's a bit of a juggle. So Five of Swords, don't get upset if they're not giving you what you need and what you want. I could see this frustration. What I get for Libras overall at this is that, like I said in the beginning, the annoyance that someone makes it more difficult. People have a tendency to make situations more difficult, and that can be very frustrating for a Libra. So, you know, just making something an obstacle course for the sake of making it an obstacle course, unnecessary. And so this Five of Swords, you may be feeling this towards a love interest or towards your partner or ex-partner, in which they're not giving you what you need. Don't feed into the energy, because then that will really make things uncomfortable for you. And I acknowledge that at this time there may be someone, they just may be not, I don't know, they may be covertly lashing out at you for feelings that they feel bad about the situation, like immaturity, you know. And so because it's something low frequency like that, something with like low self-esteem or immaturity, don't play them at their level, because they'll just bring you down. Okay, then we have the Two of Swords. By Saturday, you are going to see the error of what's going on. So in the moment, don't feel upset if someone's not living. That's them, not you. Separate business. Take care of yourself. And Two of Swords, you know, you'll find your resolution by Saturday. And then Sunday, we have the Hierophant. Again, you're going to really bond with some people this week with whom you have shared values. And it may be different people than who you know already, so be open to that. The next message is on the bottom, Two of Cups. Follow your heart, Libra. I can see that there's something uncomfortable that's going on around you in terms of relationships. Not everybody can or chooses to be the way that, you know, civil or friendly or nice. And so you don't need to be upset about the fact that they choose not to be civil, right? And sometimes they're just caught up in something. So, you know, I can see it's, in other words, it's going to play out fine. But also at the same time, yeah, it's going to play out fine. The outcome is positive. I just don't think that you should step into conflict. If somebody's being pessimistic or negative or something like that, you don't have to be in the situation with them, even though they may try really hard to co-opt you into it, right? So you can be loving and nurturing and redirect your focus this week, Libra, and I think you'll do well. Okay, that's a good piece of advice. All right, so here is the next message, Aquarius. Hey, Aquarian. So Jupiter's about to leave Aquarius. Do you guys have any last wishes before Jupiter enters into Pisces next week? So, you know, Jupiter at the last stages of any sign is pretty magical. And the last year has hopefully brought you some wonderful things. And if it hasn't, then maybe this is the time for you to start wishing, you know. So yeah, there's definitely, you know, maybe something for you to kind of think about. Like, what are you not having, or what do you still want to get? Maybe go after something that you want. Saturn is also in Aquarius, but will continue to be in Aquarius in 2022. Okay, so let's see what else going on. Okay, so first message is 5 of Pentacles. So Aquarius, this is just saying, I think that you're feeling as though you have not gotten enough. And I think, as I was telling you, the fortune for Jupiter in Aquarius, I was feeling like many of you feel like you, when I said, you know, hopefully Jupiter brought good things in for you, implicitly, I felt like many of you said, where's all the good stuff? The thing with Jupiter is sometimes those things are delayed, so be patient. But if you're feeling like this year did not give you everything you wanted, it's time for you this week to really give yourself what you want. Okay, so self-care and nurture is necessary. Then we have the Devil, which is Capricorn. Capricorn season starts, so be patient. So the Capricorn season starts on Tuesday. Okay, so this may be a time in which you gain a powerful insight. It's the winter solstice, so it's like a new moon, right? It's the darkest part of the year, and from then the light increases. So we're good. We've made it through the shadow, right? We've made it through the darkening. Now from Tuesday on, the days get longer, and I'm so excited about this. This is, you know, I live in the northern latitude. I can't wait enough. So these kinds of energies are good. And so maybe with this winter solstice, there's some light that's going to re-enter into your life. I would say on the 21st, pay attention on Tuesday to what kind of new things, what kind of sparks are showing up. And maybe write them down so you don't forget. But there's something with this winter solstice that's going to change for you. The next message is the 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles here. You're waiting on saying something to someone and you're conserving your energy. And I think this is the right time. From the looks of these 3 cards, I don't think that your environment is necessarily yet set for you to make a bold move, and it doesn't feel very hospitable at this time. Whether that's your interpretation or whether that's actually what's going on, I think you're well in your position to wait and see, or wait until things are more favorable. Because it feels as though there's animosity. Remember, Devil's also Saturn, and Saturn is in Aquarius, which is a strong transit in your first house. So there's a lot of things that you have to work through in the next year and a half while Saturn is finishing its transit. And there's a lot of things for you to overhaul. And that shouldn't be looked at as a negative thing, because it's actually an opportunity that you only get once every 29 years. And so I would say that this is actually an opportunity to overhaul your life. And sorry if it's not the timing you want, but it's actually what can lead to a lot of wonderful outcomes. So if you're feeling like there's a lot of things for you to take care of at this time, it makes sense. But be also patient and see the opportunity in that, because it's a very rare transit, couple times, 3 times in your lifetime that'll happen. And then if you take care of things now, then things will be better later, right? And then we have the Sun, which is Jupiter. Okay, so it's lucky time for you, even if you don't see it. This is where I felt very strongly to tell you to take care of yourself. There could be the details that are still being worked out, but overall there's a really good time. If somebody asks you to spend time with them this week, especially in the daytime, like go for a walk in the park or do something outside, go do that. Spend some time in the sun. There's a woman I started following this week, and she does a lot of cool skincare, and she's contracted COVID, and she made a video of herself sitting on her balcony absorbing the sunshine. And she said, you know, vitamin D, it's really good for COVID. It's true, but vitamin D is also good for the flu, for colds, and all these different things. And so the sun, you know, remember, just a good dose of sunshine might be all you need. In fact, for some of you, I mean, I don't know what your travel restrictions are where you are. I don't think travel is recommended. But if you could get somewhere where there is actual sun and spend some time in it, that might be something positive. I don't feel as though you're going, well, maybe you're going through something, some of you. But I feel like, how do you say this? Aquarians have this moment in which is very Virgo-like, but you do deal with it very differently than Virgos, in which you look around at your environment and you've let certain things pass so many times, and now you're looking at all the people who took everything for granted, which I mean, how do I say this? Like, you let people be people, but you still pay attention. And so you're seeing them being foolish or wasteful or some type of negative behavior. And you're just irritated by the fact that they got a break, they got the hall pass, and they don't get it, and it's frustrating. So it's like, stop. You know, there's a line between tolerance and enabling, and I think that you've just identified that for your environment at this time. So take care of yourself. Turn your back on the things that are not grateful towards you. Embrace yourself. You're a good place, and the right time to speak up and do what you need to do will come. Okay. Very lucky for love. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Very lucky for you guys to meet the love of your life. Now watch Venus retrograde intro when I tell you Venus retrograde's not the time to find love, but it could be very lucky time for love. So maybe in your environment is not so lucky, but for love, it could be quite a good connection. So your friends or your environment in some way is not jiving, but maybe the person you love and you are really connecting. So that's a wonderful thing. Then we have Justice for Saturday. It's going to work itself out, whatever is going on. And then we have the Two of Cups, which is more of the friendship version of the Two of Cups, companionship. I just feel like there's a situation that you're sitting on that doesn't necessarily work itself out so easily. And I feel like there's another situation, possibly a love situation, that's going very well for you. So focus on the love. Don't worry about people being ridiculous. And Hanged Man means that it's going to resolve itself in the right time. So be patient, Aquarius. I think you're at your wit's end like a Virgo, and you're ready to write off some people, but don't do it quite yet. You're right for waiting to speak up and do what you're going to do. But also try to enjoy the holiday, because I think there is definitely some very positive, loving energy around you. Bonus points if you're dealing with a Libra, because Justice is ruled by Libra. So good luck and happy holidays. Okay, so that's for my weirdos. Okay, so now let's take a look at the next sign. Gemini. Did we do Gemini? We haven't done Gemini. Hello, Gemini. Is anybody keeping track of this? Oh, thank you, Connie. I thought I saw you, so I wasn't paying attention. Okay, Gemini, let's see. So Gemini, North Node in Gemini, leaving Gemini. What are you going to do before it changes? Now this, like I said in the intro, it's going to take a couple weeks for both the different calculations of the node to switch, but it's already starting now. So you may want to, if there's something in your life that you want to go for, or there's some type of experience that you want to have, or, if something's calling your name, it might be 18 years before the North Node is in Gemini again. So this might be a good opportunity for you to kind of go and get whatever it is that is in your mind or head, right? So allow things to come into completion for you this week. allow things to play themselves out. Okay, so so this has been a big year for Gemini, of course, strong air year, and now we're entering into water and earth, and I think that that will just hit different. So enjoy this week. Okay, so here is your first 10 of Swords. Don't get scared when Gemini's, especially if you have Sun in Gemini, don't get scared by this card. Sun in Gemini rules this card, so it's not a bad thing for you. So 10 of Swords, Gemini. Okay, so I just feel like what has needed to be said has been said and it's over. Or there's also a possibility that you still need to say something, but then it's done. I feel a sense of the last conversation, just a finish in communications. Something's really put to rest for you, and I think there's a fair bit of break with regard to that. You, as you're hearing this, you may be feeling like still like, oh no, something's ending. But I think with that ending, you will find a lot of freedom. Of course, it was also the full moon in Gemini yesterday. So you're maybe feeling the effect of that. It's the big full moon for you every single year in December, right? Or sometimes it's in November, but in December this year. Okay, so yeah, so big finale. I think that there's a sense of, there's no conflict. There's not like a dramatic end, but the 10 of Swords is just, you know, something's really finalized and something's put away. And I think that even if you're not comfortable with that, I think you will be, and I think you'll feel good with time about it. Then we have the Hanged Man in the second position, Virgo energy. But it can also mean like a hermit, which is like a person who's a loner, coming to you with important information. So it could be a Virgo, or it could be a loner who's coming in with important information, important insight, someone who helps you see the world in a different way, from a different perspective. So pay attention to what you're hearing. There's also, for some of you, an indication that with the North Node finishing its transit in Gemini, you may be feeling as though you want to get away and be by yourself and just sort of think about things and reflect on what's going on and think about what you want. And so, you know, go be outside, go get fresh air, and figure out where you stand in everything that's happened. So it looks like some things have been going on, and I think it's okay. Then we have the Fool. Ooh, exciting. So you're going to have a communication with someone this week that's going to initiate something new. Uranus is in some pretty good aspects this week. So to Mercury, for one. So Mercury is experiencing a series of positive aspects to transits in Capricorn. And so, yeah, so novel, new conversations about a new path, new beginning, excited about new prospects, you know, just be open and look forward to that. The next message is the 5 of Swords. Okay, so it really is saying that if something didn't work out, it is for a good reason or a good outcome. I don't think you're sort of holding on to something that didn't work out and pining over it and refusing to move on. But I do think that if you're feeling any sense of latency or regret, or kind of thinking about the past and how it gone wrong or how it could have gone better, I think that that's a natural feeling. You have a right to feeling that. But I also feel like you will feel much better once you heal those parts of the experience. So I think the future is much brighter for you than the past at this time. And then we have the 2 of Cups. This is more the companionship card. I think that for you, there will be like a experience with another person, more on the companion level than like passion and love and lust. But I think that you'll be experiencing some really good connection with another person as a friend. There's like a friendliness, companionship This is a very nice energy for the holidays because you're not alone. You're sort of with, with like a chummy energy. Saturday, we have the Three of Pentacles, okay? And so I feel as though if you've been working really well and you have been putting in good effort, the outcome on Saturday will be good for that. So you already know if you've been putting in a lot of effort and things have been working out well, then then you will see that manifest this week, that you will see the outcome of that. If you have been bypassing your opportunities, you might be feeling as though some opportunities kind of passed you by. This is not, end of the story type of situation. If anything, it's just a lesson learned on where to go next in the next phase. I do feel as though for those of you who feel like you haven't lived up to potential, the current circumstances that you're leaving behind were perilous. There were things in your way, distractions and so forth. So I feel like if you feel like, oh, I could have done more this year, if I could have achieved more and I didn't really do that. I think that arguably you did have a lot of things in your way. There was a lot of things going on. So don't necessarily think of it as missed opportunities. All of us have things that can be considered missed opportunities. So don't be a perfectionist about that. Then we have Four of Swords. Big thing for you is rest. It looks like you're, compared to the other signs, you're closer to the end of a situation than everyone else. And so you may still be feeling overwhelmed. It may be still very active for you, and so rest, rejuvenation, a new start is coming. A new start is coming when you say so. That's one thing that this is saying, so that's exciting. And then Ace of Wands. So you have a new beginning. Don't freak out about what's gone. Don't freak out about how the year's gone, or did I miss something. No, it's fine. The horizon is bright. There's a sunrise on your horizon, and there's a new beginning. Okay? So, happy holidays, Gemini. Okay, so in other words, it looks like many of you have gone through an ending, and don't get caught up on judging how that went. Just take the information that's relevant to do better in the future. Okay. So, and yeah, there's definitely some indication that you had a lot of stuff going on. So, we can all say, oh, I could have become president of the United States. I could have done better, but we all have lives and we all have limitations, right? So just keep at it. So let's see what sign is next. Leos. Hey, Leos. So you get the moon in your sign for a little bit this week through the midweek while the nodes change. So, okay. So I think that you're coming into this week very strong. I think it's been like a recharge. By the way, the amount of fire energy in the zodiac since must be since, I think, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think in September there was a fair bit of fire, and there hasn't been much since. So this is like, it's been a little bit of a recharge for Leos, Aries, and Sag, but it hasn't been so dramatic or significant in fire. And so you're holding out until April. You're holding out until March, so the springtime. And so you've had your little pit stop, and now you want to figure out what you're going to do for the next couple months, energetically speaking. So because there won't be that many transits in fire until that time. So just figure out how you're going to spend your time, what kind of things you want to do. Those kinds of things will be really like, figure out what's important and how to spend your time. Okay. So let's see your cards. Okay. So first card for Leos, we have Six of Swords. So this is definitely moving on energy. I feel as though you may have, there isn't strong energy guiding fire signs at this time. So you may feel as though you're sort of out of sorts, out of place. You may be sort of wanting to go somewhere else, and I think you should simply do that. So If you're kind of annoyed and you need to go for a drive, go for a drive. They're little self-care things. Nothing dramatic, nothing big. But I do feel like you might be a little bit irritated. And I think that's actually astrological why it's happening this way now. So don't feel a certain type of way about it in the interim. Okay? So just do what you need to do at this time to feel that sense of freedom, or, you know. Here is the next message. We have the Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in air, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. So there could be someone who's around you who wants business dealings with you, financial dealings. They may be initiating an offer towards you or talking to you about prospect. So, you know, this is something for you to entertain, to get to know. You don't have to necessarily make a decision yet, but there's definitely someone coming in with some type of offer, like, hey, this would be a good idea, that kind of thing. Okay, here is the next message. We have the Page of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits in Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. It really feels as though there's around you a lot of different potentials this week to take you in different directions. There's things for you to consider moving forward. It's not things you need to decide upon yet, but I think there's definitely some types of new opportunities. If someone you don't know wants to have a conversation with you, have a conversation with them. If somebody wants to introduce you to a new idea, open the door, you know, like allow people in to tell you what's going on in their head. I think that's your energy. At least that's what's coming up now. So it looks like you sort of want to feel like you want to get away from what's happening around you, but yet you still also have newish people around with new ideas and new suggestions that you may want to consider. King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Benefic person around you who's watching over you and who's giving you some kind of good direction. There's someone who's going to be very lucky for you. They could have money, they could have resources, but someone is very giving towards you at this time and bringing you a lot. So on Friday we have the High Priestess. In love, trust your intuition this week. Trust your intuition about who you're dealing with and what they want, what kind of circumstance you're in. If you trust your intuition, you will understand what their intentions are, whether they're good or bad, what they actually want from you, and follow that insight. So whatever situation you're in, just trust and listen and pay attention, and that will bring you, they'll self-disclose, and that will bring you information. I don't think this is a week in which you necessarily act, Leo. I think that a lot of you kind of pulling away, you know, like a cat, like going for a walk around the neighborhood by itself. You need that little moment away. But there's a lot of people that are bringing you information, bringing you opportunities and good things. And so you need to think about it. But in terms of love, it's a lot of you listening and processing. And so far, it's not saying that you have to make a decision. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. Be careful with money, conservative money. Like, be conservative with your money. Be conservative with your time. I think that this is signaling like there's something coming, so you want to not be too loose with your money or time at this time. Sunday, we have the Fool, new beginning. So it's coming. It's not happening this week, but it's coming and it's showing up this week as possibilities. And I think that you should pay attention to those possibilities, Leo. All these different kind of things coming across your radar that you'll get to decide later on about. Okay? So this is you moving on. Probably you are moving on from some aspect of your environment at this time. So it's just not fully moving on yet, right? It's performative, you know? Rather than moving on from your situation, you're going for a walk around the neighborhood or something else like that. On the bottom is the Tower. So this could be like a change at work, you know? Transformation at work. There's some fundamental changes But I think you're ahead of the curve. So all this stuff is happening before something changes. And I think your instincts are kind of correct in guiding you to kind of branch out and seek something else. But I don't think it's a rush. And I think that you're naturally being guided to better opportunities out there. And the change that's happening would have affected you if you weren't already doing a new beginning yourself. So, hey girl, hey. And if it's in a relationship, you know, if you really pay attention and listen, then you will also avert any negativity. Just pay attention and go your own way. It feels like a timing reading for you, Leo, which means that the timing of how things are playing out for you are very in your favor. So the timing of things is going very well for you. So, and now I understand the Four of Pentacles a bit more, which means like don't spend all your money because there might be some changes that you'll need it for. And those changes will lead to good things. So it's not necessarily like a drought or anything, but you need room to navigate, and the pressure is not on you this week, but it's coming. And I think that, yeah, just be flexible to what's coming and kind of get your feelers out there. So exciting. And also, if this is regarding work, I just got this download. Talk with other people about work, about what's going on for work, about where work's going. Network, you know, get to know what's out there. And so there might be some changes for some of you guys, especially with regard to work. Okay. Not all Leos, but some of you, yes, there's definitely changes ahead. Okay. Not this week, but soon. Okay. Meow, meow, everyone. Hi. So how are we doing? So we're about halfway through now, right? Virgo, Aquarius I've done. Aquarius, Scorpio. I think we've done a lot. Virgo there. Okay, so we have Taurus. Hi, Taurus. So Taurus gets the spotlight this year. Taurus is going to have, 2022 is going to be a Taurus year. There's going to be so many things to do with Taurus. You'll see cows everywhere. It's going to be a huge year for Taurus. Oh, I've heard something today. In England, they are rehabitating. I don't know what the word is. They're reintroducing bison into England. 4 different bison are being sent back to England, and they are going to be living in a forest in Kent. Okay. And there's 2 rangers that have been hired to take care of the bison. And when I heard this, I left a comment. I'm like, I want to be the 3rd ranger, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love bison. I'm Polish, and bison throughout Europe was a very popular animal. It's a very common animal. But in Poland, it's also very, very historic animal. And I just think they're beautiful. We have a type of vodka I don't drink, but it's called żubrówka, and it has a piece of grass inside of it. It's a special type of vodka. And it has a bison on it, żuber. And so, yeah, so there's already all these different, it's a year of the bison. So, yes, I love bison. I just think they're beautiful. They're just amazing, amazing, beautiful animals. So, yeah. So yes, if anybody knows anyone in Kent that can get me that 3rd position, I don't think there is a 3rd position, but if they want another person to help out, I will move to Kent and help reintroduce the bison. But yeah, so Taurus is, I'm sorry if I'm telling you a little side story, but I think it's important. It illustrates how you should be looking for your energy in media and on television and so forth. You will see different stories about bulls, about cows, all sorts of different energy showing up at this time, because the North Node is entering into Taurus. It's going to be a very important year and a half. So if you're a Taurus sun, moon, rising, that's going to really influence your sign a lot. So I'm excited. And I'm excited that bison are reintroduced into England. England's so densely populated for its size that many plants and animals have become extinct there. Do you know there was also a European lion? That's why so many crests from European houses have lions on them. But they've also gone. The European lion is extinct. But back in the day, there was lions in Europe. Back in the long time ago. That's so interesting, right? Okay. So, and I was always wondering, like, why do they have lions all over the place? There's no lions in Europe. And then I found out, like, oh, there were lions in Europe. And I only learned that this year. I didn't know about that before. Anyway, so that's why all the crests have lions from European, like, houses, you know, lords and stuff. Okay, so here is some information. So this is Taurus, Ace of Pentacles, see, new financial beginning. I see a lot of prosperity for Taurus. So this is, I know for this week, but it starts with this week. A lot of prosperity, a lot of growth, a lot of just picking up momentum. If you feel as though things have been neither here nor there, not anywhere, I feel like finally you will feel as though there's some kind of direction. Okay? And then we have the Fool. See, be on the lookout for little stories. Be on the lookout for information. The way divination really works is if you pay attention to all the different little things that show up, you know, on the radar, then they bring with them certain pieces of information. So you have to be very open-minded in how you perceive the world. And then the world tells you things. You know how they used to say cats and animals, pets, don't talk to us? And now it's clear that animals communicate and have emotions and tell us things all the time. It's the same thing with the environment at large. The world talks to us all the time, even through our own technology. And so Tauruses, pay attention, because there's a lot of good omens showing you which way to go. This is pedal to the metal. It starts this week for Taurus. Go change your life, especially on the material front. You will do so well this year, especially with this transit in Capricorn. That's very, very complementary to the shift that's happening. So pedal to the metal, no rest for the wicked. Go after what you need. Go after what you want. Okay? Very, very, it's going to be an interesting time. I'll talk about the North Node in Taurus separately, but it's going to be a wicked time. Okay. Then we have the Ace of Swords. Okay. Ace of Swords, new communications coming in. For some of you, there is something to do with changing homes. That is a possibility. You might find information about that this week. If you've been looking for a home and you haven't been finding one, there may be some kind of breakthrough that comes up for you this week. The next message is we have the Three of Cups. Okay, so Three of Cups in this position, let's see. Somebody invites you to something, Taurus, that is unexpected, and it's going to be very lucky if you go. And especially if it's someone from the past who invites you to a party or something else. Always watch your restrictions. I'm not talking against that, but this is saying that, like, revisiting old friends and having a nice time with them is very, very lucky for you. Here is the next message. We have the Four of Pentacles. In your relationship, they may be stubborn. And in some instances, that might be because in the bigger scheme of things, your relationship might be drifting apart. Not for all Tauruses, but this is just, you know, for some. I feel as though there's a huge change ahead of Taurus, as I just said. And so I feel like not every single partner is going to be sticking around for that. Tauruses have been chasing their own tail for quite a while. There's been a lot of this, you know, and people stealing your flower. We've talked about this. There's been a lot of, you know, bumps in the road for Taurus. A lot of not here, not there, anywhere. And so many of you, or some of you, may have ended up with partners or love interests who are comfortable with you not having a path, who are comfortable with you chasing your own tail, or keep on getting the rug pulled out from under you, right? So you might be feeling, they may be feeling that this new beginning is coming up for you, and look what they're doing. Four of Pentacles. Now, this isn't for every single partner, so don't freak out if your relationship's good. This isn't about that. But your partner might be having a weird reaction to things changing for you, right? And they may be having that reaction just because they're spooked. So it might not be like a detrimental thing. But I do feel like for some of you, your partner's showing their true colors, and you're going to save yourself a lot of time and heartache by recognizing that early on and just go done, you know? They don't know a Taurus when you're really moving forward, right? And if they've been around for seeing you at your low, you know, enjoying you at your low and begrudging highs, then maybe this is the time. Four of Pentacles can also indicate that in love, there's not so much give at this time. They may be selfish at this time, or not communicating, or there's like, you know, you might be on, the communication might be stale at this time. So in terms of relationships, it does show as more of a stagnant period. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you're in love, if you're a Taurus and you love your partner, it might be just, you know, they're busy, you're busy, it's schedules, so don't freak out. But this is not a week for love. This is a week for new opportunities. Okay? So, and that doesn't mean breaking up with anyone either, unless you want to. Okay? So we have the Devil next. This is very powerful. If something is out of whack in your relationship, it might actually come to pass by Saturday that it just sort of doesn't work anymore. And this is only for people who are trying to make an unworkable situation happen, not anybody else. So this Devil here is suggesting that there could be a quick reckoning for something that's not functional. Okay. But also things will go in your favor. For those of you who are being kept from moving forward by something, that there's like an accounting that's going on that's going to just reconcile everything and get you going in the right direction. You're going from 0 to 100 this week, and it's not going to stop after. So things are picking up. This is a really cool reading. It's not what everybody wants, but I think it's going to be what you enjoy. And Three of Wands, you still have to wait for certain outcomes to come in. Be patient. Things will come in, you know, in the right time. Waiting for communication to come in, waiting for a resolution. Someone said something to you, or you put yourself out there with someone or something, and you're waiting for the outcome to come. Here is the next message, which is the Nine of Pentacles, which is Venus in Virgo. So money. I just feel as though Taurus money, I told you, money and Taurus. It's such a big energy here. And it's not very sympathetic. It's not very like of the heart. Yes, it's fun, but I think this is like pedal to the metal, money on the horizon, you know, no holding back. So happy holidays, Taurus, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so next sign. Connie, thank you for keeping track of everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 4 more. Okay, we can do that. Libra, I've done. Leo, I've done. Aries, we've done. Leo. Cancer. Do we do Cancer? Somebody was asking for Cancer. Okay, Mary gets her way. But it wasn't because, well, I don't want to say it, but I rolled the dice. Okay, so Mary, you're Cancer. There you go. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Cancers might get emotional a bit this week, and especially, like I said in the astrology, when the moon is about to, on Tuesday, when the moon is about to enter Leo, you might be feeling very, very misunderstood. So, but it's a passing energy, so it's not going to last, okay? So let's see what kind of energy we have for Cancers aside from that. So there could be moments of disenchantment and feeling like there's a lot of transits in Capricorn, which is opposite to you. So you may be overall feeling very overlooked, discouraged, like overwhelmed by the world and how it works and stuff. So if you're feeling that way, don't. It's just because all those transits are in Capricorn, and don't feel like if things are being pulled in a direction that you don't feel is in alignment with you, there's an ebb and a flow to everything, and your turn will come. Okay? So let's take a look at your cards. We have the Three of Cups, reunions, the Venus in retrograde. I tell you, reunions, love, let's try again, try another time, etc. Then we have the Ten of Wands. Somebody's hardship is having a huge influence on how you think about things. Somebody around you has had a very difficult time, whether it's with finances or with work. They've gotten themselves into a pickle. It's like somebody who owes a ton of money, and all they do is work to pay off the money. They've cornered themselves. And I feel as though their experience that you're aware of is teaching you valuable lessons. And so this reunion to me feels something like you may want to be cautious with. Like, go reunite, go reconnect with whoever, but don't let other people suck you into their emotional stuff as entertainment for them, right? So go to the party, go enjoy yourself with people you care about. But if it's just superficial and non-consequential, don't internalize what they're giving you on an emotional level so much, okay? So don't get caught up in the drama, because you may be surprised that the next day they just float off and go do whatever. And I think that connects with your perception of somebody's struggle, because somebody is struggling around you, and you see their struggle, like a lot of work, a lot of effort that's being expanded into something, and you should keep on reminding yourself, I don't want to be wasteful emotionally and get myself trapped into something similar, right? So it's like a guardian angel learning by example. It's a reminder that how easy it is to get caught up and get sidetracked, and how hard, once you're sidetracked, to get back on track. So you don't, it's just a friendly reminder. Here is the next message. We have Mr. Devil, the Devil card, Capricorn. Somebody around you, Cancer, is not telling you the truth. And I think that you should be very cautious. This is really feeding me. Somebody around you is pulling you into something much deeper than you have any business being in. This, to me, signifies that. So be very, very skeptical of who's saying what to you and why. Okay? Keep on track with your goals and your discernment. Your intuition about people is right. So don't tell yourself otherwise. When you're in a situation that you don't trust, don't tell yourself to trust the situation, okay? 10 of Pentacles. Your family is going to pull through and be amazing for you, even if it's friends or adopted family. You have people, there's something outside of, you have good people around you, but there's something enticing you from outside of that. And maybe it's like the time of the year or whatever else. It's leaving you sort of open. It's leaving you sort of open and susceptible to being receptive to those suggestions. So you have good people, and those people are going to get you through. Don't get distracted by, these things. Queen of Pentacles, Virgo. Yeah, so it feels as though someone near you is not giving to you, not reciprocating. Somebody has somebody's not giving to you in the way that you have given to them. They're drawing up like walls, and maybe this is prompting you to say, okay, well, this person isn't giving to me what I need, so I'm going to find someone else. And I think that maybe there's a little bit of urgency with which you're trying to replace the situation, and it may be sending you down a path with someone you don't want to be with. So be careful of, like, you know, people wasting your time. It's not evil. I just feel like somebody could be drawing you into a situation where they're wasting your time a bit, you know, gassing you up a bit, making you feel as though, because Cancer, if you hear about somebody's stuff, you don't forget about that. You ruminate about it. You think about it, and I think that maybe even though the situation feels heavy, you might be surprised, and you spend the whole night thinking about it, and the next day you ask your friend, how did things go? And they'll be like, yeah, fine. And that's the end of it. So be careful what you attribute your energy and time and mind to at this time, because some situations that evoke out of you a lot of your natural compassion and love and all this thing may not be needing of your as much of that energy for you, and you could be left scratching your head, but I spent 3 days thinking about this, like, why? So it's not that. And there's definitely people in your life that are solid and who are going to take you places. The next message is the six of Trump, strength, Leo. And so this is personal strength and determination. Stick to your higher principles. Think of what's right. I feel as though this is a lot of, like, focus on yourself, Cancer. You're tempted with your relationships with other people. You're being tempted to interact with others. You're being tempted to interact with others to give from your heart in the same way as like, you give everybody so much. So it's tempting for you to want to be present in those relationships. But I think that the lesson here is, you know, stick to your family relationships that don't require so much emotional work, the people who are there for you all the time, and focus on yourself and take care of yourself. I feel like you're up against a temptation. Let me just tell you, like, flat out, I try to be gentle in the way that I say it, but it really feels as though you're up against some kind of emotional temptation, a dramatic story. You're getting caught up in some other people's drama, and you might realize that you're wasting your time. So, and this may be because that in some way, someone who you are very close with isn't so open at this time. So, like, that caring part of you tries to seek something else to care for. But I think that refocus your energy on family and yourself at this time is a better use of your time. Moon. Just how much you feed into a situation may leave you with, like, questions, you know? It's like oversharing with someone and then feeling bad for the things that you said. So be careful with how much you share and why, okay? And then we have Hanged Man. In time, things will resolve. So nothing is urgent. If somebody's like, I have to talk to you now, and they need to talk for 4 hours and it's Christmas Eve, and you're like, you know, they can wait. Everybody can wait. Don't go out of your way for others. You know, be kind and loving, but don't get caught up in this, you know, drama, mama. Okay? That's a little bit of a warning reading, but I hope it makes your holidays good so that you don't get caught up in Christmas drama somewhere else, you know? So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Okay. I know that sounds horrible, but it's an energy reading. It's not like what I think should be always done, but, you know, Christmas can be very triggering for people. Okay. Virgo. Pisces. Hey, Pisces. We've been waiting for you. Welcome to my little fishies. Pisces. Sun, moon, and rising. So Pisces is going to feel better as the North Node enters into Taurus. So this is good energy for Pisces. My nose is itchy. I wonder who's thinking about me. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, so, excuse me. So, North Node is entering into Taurus, which is very significant for Pisces. This is going to trigger about a 6-year period in which a lot of things will come into a heightened state for you. Okay, so let's put down 7 cards for Pisces. 2, 3. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I already looked, so I'll show you. Ace of Swords, Pisces. So new communication and new information is the point of this week. Something new. Let's see what's going on for Pisces. 5 of Swords. Woo! I think that you're there again, it's pointing, there's a disconnect that's showing up for all the signs. Not for all the signs, but for many of the signs, there's certain relationships that are just disconnected. People are not necessarily on the same page as other people, and so I think there's a few of you who are recognizing that. It's just like maybe you've outgrown a friendship. Maybe you've found out that someone believes something that you can't vibe with, you know. Maybe it's for political reasons, but there's some kind of, I no longer see this the same way as you do, energy going around. So that's what Pisces is feeling. And then we have the Chariot, which is the sign of Cancer. I think that you've come to terms with something, and you're coming to terms with something about your life is elevating your perspective this week. And you're able to go and do new things because you're no longer trapped in a lower vibration. So you're no longer trapped in, you know, doing something. You're no longer apologetic. You're no longer trapped in, you know, kind of like a nervous reaction because you feel like you're still caught up in something. You've healed something, and now you are initiating new beginnings because you want something, because of desire, and not because of doubt or grief or regret. So Chariot is a really good indication that things are turning for you for the better. Some of that, including certain relationships, are just not working out because of that. Very similar to Taurus in the sense that once we heal, once we find ourselves, some people can't jive with that because they're so used to us not being in a good place. So there we go. So healing for Pisces. Page of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. You're meant to communicate with people about new ideas this week. There's a lot of this communication, a lot of like last-ditch communication. Because last-ditch communication, I said, because the North Node is in Gemini and it's entering into Taurus. And so this fast communication, it'll still continue to happen in the future. But for now, this is really a prime time of pieces of information being shared between people and all that. So it feels as though there's a sense of urgency with what needs to be said and to whom and how. And I think that you've been holding back on saying certain things because you've been accepting or not accepting the fact that there's a disagreement between yourself and someone else. So you've been putting up with something that you shouldn't, that's something that's done. And this week you realize you're like, oh, that's no longer in alignment. So I need to communicate in this new direction. There's going to be this big wave of communication that you're going to experience this week because you're finally accepting the fact that a person or a situation that you're involved in is not working out. So rather than trying to continually communicate with that one thing, you branch out and suddenly all these new opportunities to communicate show up. And you need to take them because North Node in Taurus is coming. Wheel of Fortune. If your husband, particularly husband or partner out there, is doing something for you this week significant, it's very lucky. So if he says, you know, let me buy you this, let him buy it for you. If he says you need to do this, or let me help you do this, let me help you take this course or do whatever, he's bringing you very luck. If he's saying go and visit your aunt, you know, through this week, I'll take care of the kids. Whatever your husband specifically, if you have a husband, is initiating, it's very lucky. Also, if you meet someone, it's very lucky. But remember, Venus retrograde, be very cautious in how you enter that it's one of those situations where you want to wait until Venus retrograde is over before you finally put your heart in it, okay? And then we have the World. I don't know if there's any Pisces out there who are traveling, but there's some indication where you may be feeling, sorry about the noise. Excuse me. I stopped and I needed to cough. just keep me talking so I don't have to cough. Okay, so the World card, it feels as though some of you are dealing with a long distance relationship. So this is just for those of you who are in a long distance relationship. You might see a turnaround in which you're being brought together for the holidays in some way, and especially in an unexpected way. Or you might be tired of waiting and just take the initiative yourself, provided it's legal, because I know there's restrictions. But follow the rules. But it's saying that for those of you for who love is far away, you might be taking some type of initiative, or they may be taking some type of initiative to be closer together. And so some of you might be traveling, some of you might be going somewhere far. The next message is the Hermit, okay, which is kind of maybe solitary journey to get you to where you need to go. Also, a fair bit of like thinking about what you want. I feel as though there's like an energy for Pisces this week. The straw that broke the camel's back. Like, enough is enough, and now I'm just going to go for it. And once you go for it, there's no holding you back. So I feel like many of you have been holding back on something, and I think this week you're going to basically pull the trigger and change it. And then we have the Three of Swords, which is the work card. And I feel as though go after your passion. There's another layer to this that I didn't see before, but now I see it. Some of you might have a work opportunity that will require for you change or travel or something like that. And it's a bit of a risk for you that you're deliberating on. And I think that you're going to like grab the bull by the horns and go for it. So sorry for the pun, but it might be a trickle opportunity for a really good outcome. So, you know, if something's not working out for you, Pisces, maybe this is the time to change things up. And for some of you, you're taking the purple pill and you're going to like somewhere far away randomly or unexpectedly. So it might be a good holiday season for you. Adventuresome Pisces. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Okay, or Happy Holidays. Okay, so here is the next sign, Sagittarius. So there's someone who was asking for Sagittarius. So there you go. There's your message. Thanks, Connie. Connie has my back. So who do we have left? Don't be depressed. Merry Christmas. Okay, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Don't be depressed. Let's see your cards. Sagittarius. So the sun is leaving Sagittarius this year, today, on Tuesday. And so you guys have had your birthdays. So happy birthday, you guys. And yeah, there's a lot going on at this time, and I hope that you guys feel better if you're not feeling great. Okay, so yeah, Sagittarius. There's a lot to say about Sagittarius. The South Node is finishing up its transit in Sag. This means that you've gone through a massive detox and energetic detox for a year and a half. So you have to be a bit patient for new things to pick up again. So especially if you've really released a lot of things in the last year and a half, you have to be very, very patient at this time for things to kind of, pick up again, or for things to pick up again or to get going again. Okay, so we have the 10 of Pentacles. Family is very important for you at this time. Remember, family can be real or adopted, so especially during the holidays, we want to remind ourselves that family is what we believe it is, and we can construct that to be our value. Your dog or your cat may be your family. For some people, it's just their plants. And so, family is in your heart. It's not in an external place. And so no matter what your situation is, that connection is very strong. And you have to be good with that connection so that when people come into your life, you're able to give them family, not just take family, right? So 10 of Pentacles, strong energy with family for Sagittarius, love, and a lot of people who you really trust. A lot of people have your back, okay? Then we have the second position, which is Judgment. A big decision that's being made by you. That's going to be a no going back type situation that you're going to take the next step on. So you're making a decision about something. You're not going to take a step back, okay, from. Then we have the 7 of Wands. You're going to tell someone something. It looks like either an ultimatum or you're going to say something that you can't go back on, a disclosure of some kind. But it's definitely something that is going to be, you're going to be firm on and you can't take back so easily. So, you know, there's definitely like maybe not a confrontation, but there's like an active decision that you're making that you don't necessarily have the opportunity to take back. The next message is the 4 of Swords. Rest, because there's some big changes that you're making, Sag, and you need time for things to work themselves out in your head. So when we sleep, our brain reconfigures itself, right? That's why we need to sleep. Otherwise, we would go crazy. If you ever heard of like sleep experiments where people stayed up a really long time, they start seeing things and they get crazy really quickly, like within a couple days. So sleep is very important for us. Just like a computer needs to be charged up, our brain needs to be decompressed. So it's not electricity that it needs, but it needs decompression. So it's just like that. So 4 of Swords is indicating that you need some rest this week, because there is definitely something that you're pulling the trigger on and you're not going to back off of that. And so because of that, there's going to be some pretty big changes and you need rest to be able to handle it all. Okay. Here is the next message. We have the 2 of Swords, Moon in Libra. Some of you might be dealing with 2 love interests at this time. You may not be sure which way to go, or you may be deciding between being single or being with someone, and it's not quite clear which path is better yet. I'm not sure if this is the same message as this one. This to me seems as though this is more self-determined, like this is what I'm going to do, this is the job I'm going to have, this is the step I'm going to take for my life. I'm going to buy this, I'm going to start this business, whatever, something autonomous. This is to do with relationships, and it seems more open-ended. So you have an open-ended relationship that's still playing itself out, and there's a lack of information for you to yet decide what to do about it. Okay. Then we have the 3 of Swords. You're still dealing with a broken heart, or many of you are, and that broken heart is influencing how you're seeing circumstances. Remember, you have people who love you, and that's like the first card that came out. It's really indicating, like, trying to remind you, like, don't get distracted by your life circumstances, because you have family and people who you care about who are there, who care about you and so forth. And when you're feeling triggered by whatever goes on and you're wondering, like, my heart's broken, 3 of Swords, wah, wah. I love this 3 of Swords, by the way. I'll show you close up. If you're feeling a certain type of way about this, just go back to focusing on the people that you love and the people that you care about, right? Because they're there and they care about you a lot. Okay, here is the 7 of Pentacles. Take your time, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is funny. It's like a pinball machine, right? Once you get one step going in a certain way, the pinball doesn't want to stop. But this energy is saying that there's one spurt of energy that you're going to have a very fast action on. And the rest of the energy around you this week is actually quite slow, and you still need to be receptive, which means you still have to take in information about what's going on before you decide what to do. So your challenge this week, it looks like, Sagittarius, is to make the fast decision that you need to make and then hold back with everything else and let everything else go slow, which is hard for you to do because once you're going, you're going. You're going, gone. Sun on the bottom. Good things are coming to you, Sag. So the Three of Swords here, I don't like seeing that for you, not at Christmas. But I think that maybe for some of you, you're dealing with someone who has passed, or Christmas time can be very hard for people, you know, who are experiencing the passing of a loved one in past years. It reminds you of past family circumstances. And, you know, so maybe this is the Three of Swords that we're seeing, this kind of, I miss them, or I miss people who can't be here with us anymore, right? Or for now, maybe they're just in another country and they can't fly because of the restrictions. So, you know, there's all sorts of possibilities. And it doesn't feel dire for you in terms of the reading. It does feel as though it just feels like you're going to make a very fast decision. And then I feel like I want to tell you to like hold back on everything else. And I feel like you just want to keep going once you get that pace with everything else, but everything else is sort of slow and like wait for it to come of its own time. So make your fast decision and then enjoy your life, get some rest, spend time with family, smell the roses, figure out your love interests, what they're all about. You don't have to rush. You can, even though there's one decision to be made, that doesn't mean you have to make 100 decisions this week. Okay. So happy holidays. I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Okay, so I think there's only Capricorn left, is there? What are the signs? Excuse me. Okay, hold on. I gotta open a window. Okay. Is there Capricorn only? Is that the only sign? Taurus. I'm going to do Capricorn because I think it's the last sign, and Connie can correct me if that's not what's up. Okay. So hi, Capricorn. I guess you're last but not least. So happy holidays. Huge time for you. Happy birthday, you guys. I hope you're having a nice holiday season. Venus retrograde in your sign. You're going to be getting a lot of people knocking on your door from the past. There's going to be just a revisiting of the past. A revisiting of old ideas. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Ugh, my nose is so... We know we've done Libra. Okay, so Capricorn. Yes, and so Venus retrograde conjunct Pluto can get you a lot of attention, Capricorn, that can feel very overwhelming at this time. There could be a lot of energy coming at you that's very intense and very emotionally driven. So be very, very, very patient with people and with circumstances. I know they may be acting funny, but I think you're just a magnet for that type of energy at this time. Okay, so why don't we take a look at your Christmas reading, your weekly reading for the week of Christmas. Happy holidays. We have the Three of Swords. Okay, so Capricorns have objectively been through a lot in the last couple years. I'm not surprised that a holiday time reading forces you to kind of confront some of the things you've gone through, and some of those things may be hurtful, or some of those things may be evoking out of you deep feelings. But I think that it's a point of healing, and I think it's a process of healing and improving your feelings about your life. I think that this is it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just feel as though make time for your emotions this week. Make time for yourself, as much as you can. Spend time. I sense that many of you, I'll describe what I'm seeing and then you can do with it whatever you want. I sense that many of you have a lot of people around you at this time through the holidays. And at holiday, you sort of become the person who's making everything and like just hustling and bustling. Your kids are running around and all this stuff. And so you're responsible in taking care of everyone's needs and so forth. And in that hustle and bustle, I feel like you need a break to kind of catch up with your emotions a bit, so you don't get tired, so you don't burn out. So, take a night in early if you can. Take a bath if you can. If you find the moment to take care of yourself, then do so. Okay, then we have the Four of Wands, which is a very nice card. Something within your family. Family, I think, for you this week is very important. I almost feel like your friends or your kids, are going to be telling you something. A conversation within your family, within like the dining room table, is going to tell you some very, very helpful information, especially for your heart. I think this week you're waiting to heal your heart in some way. So maybe, for some of you, you've gone through a loss, and this is the first year that since the loss happened, or maybe it's an important year since the loss happened. And so you're saying goodbye to that loss, you're in a process of healing. So there's something very healing happening for you, especially to do with love in your home, forgiveness, love, good things. Yes. And then we have the Three of Cups. So some of you might reach out to someone from the past. Listen, if you're hurting and you're regretting the past, regretting the past, then maybe it's time for you to reach out to someone that you're regretting not talking to, which is the Three of Cups, right? So maybe there's this, maybe this is saying that, like, reach out to the person you don't normally talk to, give them a call, see how they're doing. Maybe there's I feel as though there's like a lot of healing that's going on for you guys around home, around family, around holidays, and just be open to family, togetherness, love, those kinds of things, okay? And that includes people who are not immediately in contact with you. And so I feel like the chance to reconnect is really strong at this time. The next message is the Eight of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo. Work, Capricorn. Work is going to be very lucky, so I think you're busy also. Excuse me, hold on, I'm going to cough. But my coughing is already better than yesterday. Yesterday, I kind of was too rushed to do the reading for you guys, but you guys can hear I sound better. I'm not really, like, explained it in the intro. My illness sounds worse than it is. So, okay. So Capricorn's hustle and bustle. Work is going to be very lucky, especially if you've been working at something. You might see a breakthrough at this time. You might see a very good outcome. The next message is the next card. In a relationship, it looks like there's a bit of a struggle. For some of you, not all, and that if this is you, your relationship has become heavy. And by heavy, I mean that it's become a lot of work, and maybe this is a part of this disappointment. And that happens in life, and I'm sorry if you're in that situation, but this is to recognize that something in terms of love, in terms of romance, has just become heavy. If you're single, then you may be being tired, very tired of being single, but yet you have so many wonderful other things around you. And if you're single, then it's very important for you to connect with those people you don't usually talk to, who you've been feeling the urge to talk to. Go call them up, okay? The next message is the Two of Cups on Saturday. Companionship this week is a huge thing. Friendship, camaraderie, spending time. I just see you in like a good family environment. It's the warmest reading out of all 12 that I've done in terms of family togetherness energy. So I can sense that some of you are struggling with the heart a little bit, but there's definitely a lot of warmth in other people in your life. So yeah, happy holidays. And then we have the Two of Swords. Make some decisions later, especially about work. I think that there's like a little bit of compartmentalization that needs to happen this week where you put off some things for later to deal with, because in the immediate moment you definitely have people to care about and you have to figure out your feelings. On the bottom we have the Seven of Pentacles. Something's definitely up for you on the horizon. North Node entering into Taurus is very good for your sign. So you don't have to, it's on the horizon, it's coming, but it's not here yet, so it's not yet a priority. Right now, your family's your priority, your heart's your priority. And so, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Happy holidays. I'll be back with more very soon. My nose is itchy, so I have to go, but I hope you guys are doing well. If you want a reading with me, then go into the comments and in the description. I'll have my website back up and running by January, but in the meantime, thank you so much. Connie, the superstar, thank you so much. Connie is so loyal, guys. She is such a good friend, and so thank you so much for taking care of today's chat. So big round of applause for Connie. I don't know if I said that yesterday, so thank you so much. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Happy holidays. There's more coming. This is just your weekly.